welcome to another week of High School League for the Esport Company. We had a Week 2 matchup for Overwatch Division 1 of Bishop Carroll with Windber, Forest Hills taking on Greater Johnstown, and Somerset at Moshannon Valley. Let's take a look at the top 5 plays for Overwatch Division 1 of the High School League. Starting off at number 5, it's WASD Esports 6 with a massive flank visor, getting a 4-piece there. His entire team got a team kill for that one. And at number 4, it's Kaide of Forest Hills with incredible tracer work here. Gets a kill there on the Mercy, then boom, gets that bomb there, the pulse bomb, gets a 4th for that number 4 play. Let's move on to number 3, Bishop Carroll. It's going to be Carroll 6 with an incredibly timed sneaky shatter. Goes in and cleans up. Doesn't even need DPS helping him out, but they do anyways. And that's another team kill. That was for Carroll 6 of Bishop Carroll. Number 2 now, it's going to be Arson Uwu with an incredible tire play. Rip tires, gets 4 kills, gets the reload, and boom, goes in there. D-Mex and D-Divas that room for a 5-piece. But your number 1 play is actually going to be Flip Stingray of Forest Hills with the Dry Blade. I guess I shouldn't say Dry Blade because he is getting the help of Jegward, damage boosting him. Gets 3 kills there and forces the Cassidy back into the spawn and the Sigma back into the spawn for that team wipe there. Bishop Carroll gets a 2-0 victory. Forest Hills gets a 2-0 victory, and Somerset also got a 2-0 victory over Moshannon Valley. Forest Hills and Somerset have a 2-way tie for the lead. Nizzy's out.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Esports Company High School League Overwatch Division 1 Spring 2022 season. I am Joker's Ransom. I'm here with Lord Thethan. Thethan, how are you doing today, good sir?
I'm doing really well, Joker. Let me tell you, it's been a long week, and what better way to make it an even better week than to watch a couple of matchups that we got going down today. The first of which I've been really excited for. We're gonna have the Greater Johnstown Trojans going up against Moshannon Valley. Get this. Joker, their kind of icon, their mascot, their team name is the Gaming Knights. That is really cool, and we haven't gotten to see Moshannon Valley yet, or at least I haven't. So I'm really excited to see what exactly this team offers to the TEC High School League, and as well what kind of opponent they represent to Greater Johnstown.
Yeah, definitely. We didn't get to see Moshannon Valley last week because of the inclement weather. So now we're going to be able to see them tonight. But that's not the only games we're going to be seeing. We've got, right after this one, we've got Forest Hills versus Bishop Carroll. That's going to be a very good matchup as well. But we'll talk about that when we get there later. And yeah, again, it should be a good game between Johnstown versus Moshannon Valley. Johnstown still looking for their first win, but it's very doable against a team like Moshannon Valley, who's 1-1 currently.
Yeah, so this is going to be the matchup that you have to find some success in. We're I think we're a little under halfway through the season now, so it's time to wake up, turn on our monitors, and well start gaming away. Let's take a look at these rosters before we jump into the Overwatch action here. Starting off, Greater Johnstown Trojans here. Of course, I'm just Mythic and Trix's Death are going to be leading the charge as the tank heroes, establishing the front line. You've got River Galaxy and Trojan 1, also known as Cooper, who will be dishing out all of the damage, helping to swing some of these fights for the Trojans, and as well on the support lineup, keeping everyone enabled, and as well establishing a little bit of playmaking of their own. It's going to be Game Genix and Trojan 4, which today is going to be Connor, who I think I haven't seen as well, so I'm very excited to see Connor debut for this team today.
Yeah, and then on the side of Moshannon Valley, they've got all the generic tags, but they have names as well. MV Esports 4 is going to be Annabelle. MV Esports 2 is Austin S, and those are going to be your tank players for this team. Then we've got MV Esports 3 and MV Esports 5. This is going to be Teddy and Caitlin on the DPS role. And then MV Esports 1 and MV Esports 6, which is Austin W and Jeremy on the supports. So, I mean, it's going to be very difficult for me to remember all these names in the instant.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll remember it so I don't look like a fool.
I've got my cheat sheet up on my other monitor so that I can flick back and forth and make sure I know everyone. Let's take a look at our map pool here as well. At least there's a couple of things we can be familiar with, and I think that these maps are good ones to know. We'll be taking to Greece in Ilios for our control point game mode, and then following up with a matchup on the just massive plains of Junkertown, and maybe, perhaps, Joker, we get to a Game 3, which I don't think we've gotten to see here yet in the TEC High School League. Volskaya Industries will be the assault game mode, but again, we'll get there once we get there. At least for now, we need to see both of these teams win a map, and I'd love to see Greater Johnstown start accruing a couple of successes. They've been working really hard for it.
Yeah, definitely, and they're going to start it out on Ilios, and Ilios is I feel like a more dive-oriented control point, and we're going to be starting out here on, I believe, Well, and it should be very interesting to see, especially if we're going to see some Lucios on these from both of these teams.
Oh, well, yeah, you definitely want to get put on your roller skates and go make a couple of sacrifices, throw some people into the middle of the objective. This one's a weird map because on that hill that you're looking to control, this King of the Hill game mode, you've got half of the objective missing, and so playing around that is going to be a little bit difficult to navigate. But there are ways to make it more simple, right? And that's going to be the heroes that you play. Definitely to see Lucio's in that mix, get those environmental elims is going to be pretty important, but as well, you see Justin Mythic on the Roadhog so that they can hook people in, and then you've got MV Esports 2, that is Austin S on the horse, the Orisa, to pull people and help with some of that playmaking. Already not skipping a beat to rush out to this objective and see how this first fight unfolds.
Interesting. Teddy is opting for the Bastion. This is just a lot of damage that's going to be coming out from Moshannon Valley. We'll see how this begins here any second now, but it's going to be a start first pick as Cooper takes off MV Esports 5. That's Caitlin off the side of the map, and that is going to be a very quick start for the side of Greater Johnstown.
You don't normally look at a Mercy Lucio composition like the one that Greater Johnstown is running and see a lot of sustenance that your front lines, that Trix Death and I'm Just Mythic can get from that. That was a nice hook, and it's amazing that Mythic lives out of that. But ultimately, if all of your opponents are dead, then there's no healing to be done. You don't have to worry about Trojan 4, about Connor being on that single target healer, and especially now that sustenance is going to suffer for Moshannon Valley with the elimination of Jeremy, you'll have to see them back up.
Yeah, as they're going to start again coming forward, getting all of these picks for Greater Johnstown, and they're looking really strong. They're looking really good, as I'm Just Mythic still going to probably look for a couple of late exit kills, but not going to find anything, as they're ticking it up to 45% here.
Yeah, and as well, they've got a couple of tools that they can use to continue to hold this. Greater Johnstown coming to this next fight with a pulse bomb.
Yeah, and there goes Jeremy again on the back of
Nice stick.
One. Yeah, nice stick coming in from River Galaxy. I was gonna say Mythic's nice hook coming through, but then River Galaxy does that with a 2K pulse bomb and outshines that nice little pick from the Roadhog.
Yeah, and it helps to equalize the man disadvantage. Now, there is unfortunately Austin W going down early in this fight. There's your environmental elimination, the first one of the match here from I'm Just Mythic. Hooking, it looks like Annabella off the edge there. Coming up in the last team fight territory, and ultimates are all on the side of Greater Johnstown.
Ooh, but there it comes. There is the Bastion being able to set up, taking out one, and the Reinhardt is gone for the side of Greater Johnstown, but the whole hog coming out from I'm Just Mythic is just going to lock everyone up, push them all away from point. Ooh, and a nice little hook coming through.
Nice.
Did not look like it was going to be possible, but that is going to really seal the deal. It does not look like anyone's going to be able to touch here as Greater Johnstown take round 1 of Ilios.
I'd say Well is a good map to win here really for either side, just because it does play out a little bit differently. You're not looking to, on the control point map, take a bunch of really close, quick fights, right? You're forced because of the absence of, well, ground to stand on. You're forced to take longer range poke kind of battles. Ultimately, Greater Johnstown is able to really pick the heroes that do that best. Despite the fact that Moshannon Valley was, they did lean into a couple of more metagame strategies. Really the exception here being Teddy, still on the Bastion, MV Esports 3 there. We'll have to see if it gets a little bit more value on maps that are a little bit more straightforward here, compared to Greater Johnstown's more full dive style composition here.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're not running a Symmetra here, specifically for Moshannon Valley, because they're wanting to run this composition, keep all bunkered up. It would have been nice to use this the Symmetra, as they're gonna get set up with Teddy on this Bastion, take down Trojan 1, which is Cooper, but there it's gonna be traded back. I'm Just Mythic does take out Austin W on that Lucio to keep people all up for the time being, as the side of Greater Johnstown are going to get the first capture on the point, even though Moshannon Valley was the first people there, and they're going to clear everyone up. They do lose a couple of people, but there goes the last support. It goes down the Bastion, and there goes Austin S on the Reinhardt as well to clear things up for Johnstown. Nope.
And that's a, either a missed click or just Mythic saying, I don't need this for later. They get the remake there, so, you'll have that point presence. River Galaxy is going to swap onto the Sombra and look to just disable Moshannon Valley when they look to push here. Some pretty crucial hack targets that you have in their composition, but you still have to fight through just oppressive amounts of damage from Moshannon Valley.
Well, now they've opted to go for this Reaper pick, and the charge coming in, they're going to just be deleted after they get hacked up by River Galaxy. That goes the next play, as they're looking to get something going, but Annabelle is going to get demeched here early on by the Moira. That's going to really wrap things up again. For the side of Greater Johnstown, as Tricked Death is just going to get a nice cleanup with 3.
Yeah, it's the Winston. It doesn't really do that much damage to a single target, but man, if you can get that Tesla cannon tethered onto several people at once, get that chain lightning effect, then it leads to some pretty significant damage dished out by Trick's Death here, who's coming into this next fight with a Primal Rage. That can also be a very lethal ability if used correctly.
Yeah, definitely, and they're going to have to try something here. There goes Austin S trying to pin for the point, trying to the Shatter, not going to follow up. The Self-Destruct does take down Game Genix, and the remake does take out another one as well. Moshannon Valley coming back strong. They've got all these picks that they need, as Annabelle taking out I'm Just Mythic before they could get it back into their mech. River Galaxy trying to turn it back. They've got 2 with this Genji, but it's not looking good, as Moshannon Valley are going to be able to get their first capture percentage.
That's a really important fight to win there from Moshannon Valley because just one more tick of point progress and Greater Johnstown would have won Ilios as a whole. Moshannon Valley also has that Junker at Riptire that will be coming out from Caitlyn, and that can really end a fight before it even begins, especially considering how flimsy River Galaxy is going to now be on the Genji hero.
Well, here comes Cooper using this out early on. Not gonna find anything with that Riptire, but I'm just Mythic says, okay, I could do it too with the Rebek kill coming in on to Austin W. As the regroup and re-engage coming in from Greater Johnstown is massive, gonna be able to get it back into the favor. The overtime bar is gonna be ticking down. It is just Caitlyn left, the Dragon Blade for show, as Greater Johnstown take map 1 of Ilios.
That was still that was a really nice demonstration from Greater Johnstown, and this is kind of the moment that I've been waiting for. I've seen Greater Johnstown go up against some serious adversity here so far in the TEC league, the TEC High School League. So it's pretty refreshing to see them clutch out a win here on Ilios. But Joker, Ilios plays out. there's the Bastion. It's just hiding out there. Poor Teddy. Ilios and Control Point as a whole, it plays much differently than the other game modes, where you might find teamwork ends up being a little bit more important here on, it's important on any map, but where teamwork is pretty important, especially on the hybrid, escort, or assault game modes, which we might get to see. Control Point ends up being a little more deathmatchy. Do you think that heading into the next map, Moshannon Valley might be or might have the odds leveled against them?
Well, I do think that, especially since we're going to Junkertown, and we've already seen them, like to run the Bastion. We might see the old school pirate ship come out from them. That would be pretty cool, pretty sick. I mean, you can't do the old school pirate ship with Roadhog on there as well, but it would be nice to see. I mean, it'd be a nice throwback to old Overwatch. I mean, you can't run out on only Mercy heals anymore, but I mean, still, it'd be really fun.
Yeah, I agree, especially in the wake of the PvP Overwatch 2 beta announcement, right? Any default to a more classic style Overwatch is a lot of fun. I really like playing or watching Overwatch and seeing compositions that look like they were manufactured in 2016. You've got the Mercy and the Ana with Genji, Tracer, Winston, Diva. Nothing beats that classic dive composition. That's the composition that I originally learned to play the game in. I'll be honest, Joker, I miss it, but I don't think that's the comp that we'll be seeing heading into Junkertown. Again, it goes back to that more long-range style composition, or those more long-ranged heroes. Do we see a sniper come out on either side here?
Definitely. If you're not, it doesn't make I don't know what I'm trying to say. It doesn't make sense not to play. That's what I'm looking for. Not to play a sniper on this. Either a Hanzo, Ashe, or a Widowmaker. Especially, I feel like Ashe is more built for the longer stages of this map. Because I mean, Widowmaker's really good on point 1, but then you go into point 2 and point 3, and they get a little bit more closed off. That Ashe damage with the dynamite is just so much more value. That's why I love it on points that have like very close places you have to go into. Like if we were seeing Temple of Anubis as our third map, I'd love to see an Ashe there.
Yeah, actually, and on Volskaya Industries, which will be our third map. Oh boy, playing against Ashes when you're going on the attack, who are just sitting up on top of the high ground, just with a Mercy damage amp boost. It's pretty challenging to get through that. Not to mention the dynamite is just so much. It's not only a ton of damage that you have to spend resources to cleanse that burning effect. It's also some pretty serious ultimate charge to Bob, who is one of the not terrible DPS ultimates in the game. It's not quite like the Deadeye from Cole Cassidy that you really just use to reload that Peacekeeper, keep doing damage. Here we'll be jumping into the streets of Junkertown. This map is pretty 50-50 with Overwatch players. It's no King's Row. Some people really hate this map. I find that I like it. It's good for Zenyatta and Orisa and Sigma. I play all those heroes pretty prolifically. And we do already see Greater Johnstown opting for that double shield, the classic double shield composition. But instead of a Zenyatta damage boosting, it's going to be Trojan for Connor.
There it is. Look at it. Moshannon Valley is they might be locking it here, Ethan. They might.
Oh, there's no shot.
They just need to swap to maybe a Reinhardt or a Sigma, maybe a Reinhardt. But I still like the D.Va. It just mitigates so much damage. But we'll see how Greater Johnstown really deals with it. We're gonna see River Galaxy on this Widowmaker as well.
Interesting. This is a not quite the close hold, but it is definitely a closer hold. A good place to position here for Greater Johnstown if they want to make sure that MV Sports 3 Teddy doesn't get to set up on that objective and then just stay there uncontested. Right now, Moshannon is kind of having a difficult time figuring out how they want to get out of the choke, especially now that they're down their main healer.
Yeah, and there goes Teddy as well. Some nice shots coming in from River Galaxy. They're just going to clear up the rest of Moshannon Valley and have them go back to spawn. As well, can't really do much without your team.
No, and this is that game mode that is a little bit more teamwork oriented. So really what we need to see Moshannon Valley do is, for one, Annabella's going to have to get back into that D.Va mech here. It's coming up very shortly. And it looks like Jeremy's fighting for an off angle here, but you really just got to get Teddy into a position where they can do damage. They're already there now.
Yeah, they've taken out Game Genix, but there goes the trade yet again. A nice shot coming in.
Oh, what?
Looks like 3K coming in for the Widowmaker of Johnstown, looking for more here, trying to clean up some people as this is looking good yet again for Greater Johnstown. They still do have this respawn advantage, but it's not gonna matter. Yeah, it's because River Galaxy keeps clicking head after head as the side of Johnstown win this fight out. Maybe not using those two ultimates were not needed, but I mean, it gets the job done.
Hey, if you got them, you might as well use them, and especially since you don't need them to secure picks, since River Galaxy's doing all that, might as well work up towards that next supercharger. Here's the tank configuration, though, from Teddy.
Yeah, I think they're just using it to maybe switch off because it's not really working out. The big thing about the pirate ship composition is if you can't get set up, you're better off just switching off of it, as it's really hard to get into it. As now they're going to start things off. They've used the sound barrier early on. They still have Teddy on this Bastion, as it's not, they do take it down. I'm just mythic, but it's going to get rezzed up. And here comes the Reptire out as well from Cooper. Going to find two of their own, as that's just going to be another team fight win, as they're still trying to figure something out here.
Good stuff from Cooper, and I'm glad to see them get a little bit of time to shine there, especially compared to how River Galaxy was performing. Now, there's another opportunity to mention Cooper's name there. Unfortunately, going down on the off angle to Austin S there, but I think Austin S on this Roadhog is a really good decision.
It definitely is. It's just they need to find more picks off the back of it. They do take down two there going forward, and they've also swapped off to the Doomfist. They do get a res, however, on the Trick's Death. The Flux coming out as well, trying to finish things off as things are not going good right now, as they do get a nice hook. Yeah, again, Austin S keeps getting these picks in these fights, but they can never turn it back into the favor of Moshannon Valley. But just as I say that, Caitlyn on this Junkrat is going to be able to get one, as well as taking out Game Genix with Annabelle on that D.Va. This might be enough to open things up. They need to get another pick, and they need to get it quickly because, well, it's getting down to the super nitty-gritty. It's down to 30 seconds left. They need to get a pick. A nice coming in yet again from Austin S on this Roadhog, and they're finally going to be able to move this cart here, Ethan.
Yeah, that's it. It's all about making the space when you're playing tank for your DPS and your supports to be able to play in. That's something that was unfortunately lacking for a little too long here for Moshannon Valley. But you don't need barriers to create navigatable space. You just need, sometimes you just need the lethality of the one-shot combo here that Austin S almost gets again.
Yeah, but there it goes. They take out James Jennings. They do get the res, but it's no longer there for the late fight that they might want it for. But that is big. They've taken out that massive amount of damage coming in from Teddy. As the side of Greater Johnstown are looking to come back strong, they've taken out Austin S as well. The Dragon Blade coming in from River Galaxy is going to find 2, looking for another one, but they're not going to need it as the overtime bar ticks down as Greater Johnstown complete the full hold.
I gotta say, it is a full hold, but it's also still workable here for Moshannon Valley. It's a difficult challenge that they're up against, though. I mentioned earlier, Greater Johnstown has been playing some tougher matchups earlier in the TEC High School League season. So really, this is the first favorable team for them to really play against. It makes perfect sense to me that they look as strong as they do, considering the opponents that they've had to play up against so far. I think as well. I mean, man, I coach for a collegiate team, and so to see River Galaxy be able to swap from the Widow and the Genji and be just as effective on either one is pretty crazy to me. I'm very used to having players kind of locked in, especially on the DPS role, kind of locked into a specific variant of DPS. You know, if you play the Widow, then you'll also play the other hit scan or sniper heroes, and then you leave your other DPS hero to play those more flex style DPS, those projectiles. But River Galaxy, you know, they just seem to be comfortable on whoever you put them on, especially with the support coming in from Connor and again the space created here by Tricksteth and I'm Just Mythic. They've had a tough time making that kind of space, making that workable position in the past. It's so good to see the tanks doing as well as they are.
Yeah, and I wanted to say people like River Galaxy, those hyper flex players, are the ones that are going to thrive in the Overwatch 2 scene.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people have been thinking, as we've seen from Overwatch teams' builds, as they're going to start things off. They've taken out already Game Genix, but I'm Just Mythic is going to turn it back, taking out Teddy, as this is looking good for the side of Johnstown, starting things off. They've taken out the support for Moshannon Valley, and that is just going to be a clean up coming in from Greater Johnstown.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that's where we look at there's total mayhem securing Cooper out of the fight, revive to bring them back in. It's a cheap resource to spend at this point for Greater Johnstown. An early engagement here from Teddy, I don't think is advisable. They still went for it. I like the courage. You know, oh man, what was I about to say? I was going to say that, you know, you look at the staging, you look at the way that Moshannon Valley was set up, and they just weren't set up to sustain there. We'll have to see if they're set up to retake, though. This is the last fight.
Yeah, and it is definitely last fight, and you've already got the DMAC onto Annabelle, which is going to be huge. It doesn't even look like anyone's going to be able to touch here, Ethan.
No, they aren't able to touch. It's going to be Greater Johnstown winning this series in a decisive fashion. And once again, although I was very excited to see Moshannon Valley in action, see what their formation really offered up to the TEC High School League, you know, Greater Johnstown, after a challenging start to the season, they've gotten their ducks in a row. Their cards are in order. They know which aces to play here, like Cooper's rib tires a couple of times in the series. And they deserve this win, 100%.
Yeah, definitely. And this team still was the runner-up, I believe, to last season to the Forest Hills squad. Yep. So I mean, we know they're really good at Overwatch. It's just putting the pieces back together.
That's right, because, you know, rosters change, the competitive rating of each of these players, you know, goes up and down. So, and as well, you know, depending on the resources that you have for coaching and guidance, you know, some of these teams are stacked to win games consistently, like we've seen from Forest Hills. And in some of them, you know, what they are left with is opportunities to learn from their opposition. For Moshannon Valley, this is, you know, this is definitely a game that you wanted to win. Every game is, but for Moshannon Valley, it's still a win. I'm certain that they've got a lot from this series that they can learn from.
Yeah, definitely. It just shows that maybe not. I don't want to say that. Maybe don't run Bastion all the time. I'm sorry. I had to say it. I mean, if it works, it works. But
yeah,
when it's not working, don't force it. And that's the biggest thing I have to say to Moshannon Valley. Is even if you're comfortable on it, even if it's not working, don't run it. because I mean you're just gonna dig yourself into a larger hole.
I can definitely say that for Moshannon Valley to gradually watch their flexibility improve as the series goes on is going to be an absolute treat for us here in the booth. But as far as treats go, we were hoping for that 3-game series here, Joker, and we didn't get it in this one. But our next matchup might give us what we're looking for. It's definitely going to give us plenty of Forest Hills, who is our our next matchup playing against Bishop Carroll. We'll have to see if that match really gives us a show. And well, we'll just have to wait around and find out. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after a short break.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for game number 2. It's the game we've been waiting for. It's Forest Hills versus Bishop Carroll. Both teams have not lost a match yet. So, well, we're going to be seeing the loss of one of these two teams here today. I'm still here with Lord Thethan. And, I mean, we were talking about it. We're super excited for this matchup.
Yeah, Forest Hills has revealed to us over the last couple of weeks that I mean they know the game. At least well enough to just kind of stampede through any kind of opposition. We see not only a really good insight into how to play the comps they're comfortable on, but also a flexibility onto comps that or heroes that we don't see quite as often. Here for Bishop Carroll, I think that we got to see a little bit of them last week, and I mean they looked good. This is a really good matchup that we'll be watching.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And before we head into the game, let's talk about those rosters, as we have an interesting change coming in from Forest Hills. As we have Flip Stingray and Devo on the tanks this time, as Flip Stingray was the DPS duo with Kaide, but now we're seeing him on the tank role. Then we have Kaide and Bloodhound. Kaide was just so good on that Tracer last week, getting multiple, at least 3Ks each fight, especially on Oasis. And then we have Napoleon and Jegward filling out the rest of the team on the support line. And for Bishop Carroll, for the Huskies here, we got their their school tags here, but Aiden and Tommy B will be Carroll 6 and 4. They'll be tanking, and Tommy U, Kenzie are going to be the DPS players. Meanwhile, Olivia and Josh, Carroll 3, Carroll 1, are going to be our support players for this roster. We got to see some pretty good stuff from them last week, but against an opponent such as Forest Hills, the question that I have is, what kind of strategies do you employ? I'm sure both of these teams have gotten to do a little bit of scouting as well, and so they're probably at this point familiar with what their strengths are. I'm eager to see those strengths in action. Yeah, me too. I'm very eager to see how they're gonna shut down Kaede, because we saw him run rampant against the team that they played against last week. I don't remember. It was Greater Johnstown last week, and they let him run rampant, and hopefully they've learned from that mistake of Greater Johnstown and of Bishop Carroll going into this matchup.
It'll be a challenge for sure, and we'll be going back to Ilios. This is that control point deathmatchy game mode where really we expect Kaede to absolutely thrive. Everyone's beginning to lock their heroes here, and you're seeing a kind of brawl style composition on both sides. Although I do gotta say, Carroll 3 here. That's gonna be. Wait. Oh, is it Olivia on the Echo now? Tommy, you and Olivia swap places. Olivia's going to be playing Echo here, it seems, with Tommy Yu on Mercy.
Very interesting. We were not expecting this at all, but well, now we're gonna see how this goes in here, as that's definitely not what we were expecting, but we're seeing some compositions coming through. Forest Hills opting for some nice ball composition coming through. They're going to pile drive through is Flip Stingray. Not going to find any kills, however, but it's going to be Coyote starting things off, taking out Kenzie from the sky, as you're going to look for the Ash, or the Echo as well. That's going to be Flip Stingray, the dynamic duo of Forest Hills. Are going to be starting things off into their favor as they've gotten all these picks necessary. They're going to get their first capture percentage.
A really strong fight there. Good stuff from Flip Stingray as well on the wrecking ball. They might as well be on the DPS roll still with how lethal they've become. Careful, Live here. They unfortunately get sent back to spawn. Oh no, brought back into the fight. Coming up on that minefield as well is really going to help with point presence. But you know, who do you minefield here? You've got two flyers, two flying heroes. Well, originally had two flying heroes on the side of Bishop Carroll. Now you do have Olivia on the May here, just to separate the formation of Forest Hills and see if you can exploit those tank players.
Well, they're gonna exploit out, it seems. No, Flip Stingray did get away even throughout that May, and they take
No way!
3. As Olivia goes down and Coyote takes out Tommy Yu, as this is just gonna be another nice easy team fight win. We're seeing Kenzie try to come back around, but Coyote's still alive, clicking heads and taking names as the side of Forest Hills continue to hold strong.
It's very difficult here for Bishop Carroll to figure out, you know, kind of evaluate, you know, who do you deal with? For every threat that you have a response for, there's another one in the back lines of Forest Hills, and that is deal with Flip Stingray, absolutely, but then you have to cross distance onto Kaide. Now, Forest Hills is down the revive, and that's an important resource they won't have the longer this fight goes on, but we'll have to see if Bishop Carroll can really exploit that.
Well, they did exploit out a little bit over-aggressive Devo. They're going to take them out. Josh gets that pick off the back of some nice uses of abilities coming in from Bishop Carroll. The Reptile comes through and finds...
Oh, it's massive.
It's just going to destroy the push as Napoleon finds 2 of theirs on their own as well, as Forest Hills continue to hold strong. It's up to 99 or 90% now.
And you're coming into the last team fight territory. Carroll 6, Aiden hasn't really had the opportunity to use that Earth Shatter. It's a powerful fight swing ultimate, but they're under so much pressure here. Goes for the Shatter, lands into a shield, and just like that, the round is already over. 100-0 here in favor of Forest Hills. If we go to Ilios Well for our next map, I really don't expect things to change here for Bishop Carroll.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, and we are indeed heading to Well, I believe. Yes, that is Well. Those are the steps up to the Well, as we do see some changes coming in from Forest Hills. They are now going to be locking the Pharah instead of the Ash, and we're seeing Carroll 6, Aiden going over to the Roadhog.
You know, the Hog Sigma tank lineup that you see Aiden and Tommy B running is a pretty good one. Ultimately, Tommy B will opt instead for the horse, or rather, the queen of Overwatch, as I call her, Orisa, for that pull hook combo. But there's still so much damage to fight around. Kaide in the skies with Jegward, inattentive Mercy player, is going to be a lot to fight through.
Well, the damage boosted Fire Strike has already taken out Kenzie in this fight, and a nice concussion blast as well from Kaede has taken out Tommy Yu, as this is just going to be looking good. They did get that halt off the side of the map on the Flip Stingray. They're still trying to turn it back. They've gotten 3 picks in this fight. They need to get another one, but there's another nice boop coming in from the side of Forest Hills, taking out Carroll 6. Aiden off the side of the map, and they're still looking to finish this off. They're trying to clear these up. It's just Carroll 5, Kenzie going down, and Forest Hills are going to take the first point on Well.
You know, Kaede, I'm just gonna need a workshop sometime. Come VOD review my Pharah, because I do not understand how her concussion blast works, and Kaede has now secured 2 eliminations off of just that one ability used twice in succession. Beautiful stuff, and it'll reward them with an early barrage here if they have the opportunity to use it.
And Kaede has taken out Carroll 3, Olivia going down. They do trade it back. Aiden taking out Jegward, but it's still not looking good. They're going to still have to push in through a lot of damage, but Aiden's taken out Devo. It is a huge pick, but the barrage does find 2 of their own, but it is still traded out. There is still 2 people down for Forest Hills, but it's not going to matter. Flip Stingray does pick up the death slack for the rest of Forest Hills, getting 2 in that fight. Napoleon taking out Olivia there as well to end things in the favor of Forest Hills.
I love that. We got to see Carroll and Josh on the Lucio just being like, all right, guys, get out of spawn. I'll speed amp you guys back to the point. That's that support mindset in play. How can I enable my team to succeed? But that's also why we're seeing Forest Hills do so well. Napoleon and Jegward are just doing so good on the support line. And look at the tanks as well.
Yeah, Flip Stingray with a nice minefield, taking out 2 of their own. They do pay for it with their life, but that's a trade you'll take all day, every day, a 2-for-1.
And now another Riptire here from Bloodhound might be just as big if you see Bishop Carroll clumped up as they are, but they have ults of their own. We have to see them use it first and disrupt whatever plays the DPS for Forest Hills are looking to make.
Well, we'll see here. Bloodhound looking to get that Riptire on board as, ooh!
Nice shot.
2. Tommy Yu is going to take out Jegworld. That's going to be huge. That is that Mercy Pocket gone. They've got another pick as well in this fight. It's now all Bishop Carroll as Kenzie's taking out Napoleon. Flip Stingray and Kaede are going to try to turn it back as well with Bloodhound using this Riptire. They need to find something. They do. They find Kenzie. There's still people to find as well. And Forest Hills might be able to flip it, but this tank line is still there for Bishop Carroll, pumping in so much damage into Flip Stingray. Not being able to take them out yet, however, but it's still going to be Bishop Carroll going to be getting capture percentage up on this control point.
Now it's just the game of staying on this objective. Earthshatter doesn't connect to anything here for Forest Hills. That's a huge boon for Bishop Carroll.
Yeah, as Carroll 6, Aiden taking out Devo, and then the focusing beam comes in through onto Flip Stingray. Napoleon does try to turn it back. They've taken out Tommy B, but again, it's just too many people gone. Oh, Bloodhound's turned it back. They've taken out 2 with a concussion mine, as this should be enough as Kaede comes back, takes out Carroll 3. The barrage coming out, taking out Tommy Yu on the support, getting 2 with the barrage, and it does get flipped immediately back as they take out Carroll 4. This should be all but over. This is going to be Ilios. They do have Josh still left on this point. They're trying to keep it into the favor as long as they possibly can, but it's going to be just too hard. Carroll 6 down. Aiden did swap over to that Wrecking Ball, but it's not going to matter. It's just Josh left. They do take out Devo. The respawn's coming back, but it's not looking good. It is just that Winston left on the point, and no one's going to be able to touch anytime soon as Forest Hills take map number 1.
They do take map number 1. They took both of those sub-maps, one of them a little bit more decisively. Once we went to Well, we did get to see Bishop Carroll win a couple of those fights there. Some of those engagements were pretty harrowing for them. Fights that, you look at that and you think they should lose that. So what we learn from this is that Forest Hills is fallible. There are ways to get them to be less functional than they are. And really, I think that part of that starts here with Kaede and Jegward. In one of those fights that we got to see Bishop Carroll emerge on top, it was from an early pickoff from Tommy Yu playing the Ana, the sniper healer, who it really... The supports, they're not called healers, they're called supports, and they might as well be DPS heroes as well. It was a big play, a very kind of small action that amounted to a huge win here for Bishop Carroll. So again, Forest Hills, there are ways to outplay them, but as we see a role swap coming in, Kaede is going to be tanking, Flip Stingray on DPS. Things might continue going the way here of Forest Hills.
Yeah. Even with Kaede swapping over to the tank role, is Flip Stingray still no slouch at all on the DPS role. We saw, especially if you watched the recap video from the beginning of the stream, we saw Flip Stingray was number 1 with that Dragon Blade, as they're still really good on this DPS role.
Yeah, and the Overwatch has gone through many mutations over the 5-6 years that it's been a game. One of the things that the devs have realized is that in a first-person shooter, a hero-based first-person shooter, every hero should be able to. Every hero has their own element of lethality, right? And so to see Kaide filling onto any other role, all that really means is that you'll see them continue to do damage on top of the other things they're responsible for. If they're playing support, if they're playing tank, there's a lot of tanks who do just insane amounts of damage, and there's a lot of supports who again might as well be DPS heroes. We'll have to see. It looks like it's actually Kaide on the support line heading into Junkertown. We got to see this match or this map earlier here, and Joker, I wonder if we're going to see another first point hold here from Forest Hills.
I'm just wondering what Kaide is going to be playing. It's got to be either Baptiste or Zen, I'd think. If you're putting your DPS player on to this role. But yeah, with how if they continue the dominance that we did see on the first point of Ilios, I'm definitely expecting a full point hold. But I don't know. Yeah, Kaide is going to be playing that Zenyatta, which should be able to pump out a lot of damage. We've seen, especially on that Ashe that they played on Ruins.
Ooh, yeah. Hanzo is terrifying on this map, and that recon arrow that he has is just such a phenomenal information gathering tool. It helps you understand how your opponents are wanting to push. And here for Bishop Carroll, going on the attack first, generally Overwatch players, they do like defending first because it gives you an idea of what your opponents are going to run. So Bishop Carroll is a little on the back foot here in terms of that information game. It's going to be Forest Hills, possibly an advantage here, especially with Kaide on that Zenyatta. I love to see the Omnic Monk in action, but already Bloodhound has gone down to Olivia.
Yeah, that is a big pick indeed coming through here as they look to continue things going. Flip Stingray looking for a pick, but they're trying to get out now. They're super low, but nothing's doing right now besides that pick onto Bloodhound. But there goes Kaede. That is why they swapped him over to the Zenyatta, to be able to get that just superior damage that can come out from a Zenyatta, and a nice rollout coming out as well from the DPS of Flip Stingray, as they're going to continue to go forward. An unfortunate error, but does not get taken out at the moment. But Carroll 3 yet again taking out Kaede. They continuing to show prominence on this Hanzo character to continue pushing forward, but it's not going to matter. They traded out immediately coming forward, and the punch does take out Carroll 4, Tommy B out of this map. They do get Napoleon, however, but still, it's just traded all around, but it's still looking good for the side of Forest Hills.
Yeah, they're holding the formation for Bishop Carroll is a little in disarray, so they need to kind of reformat themselves and figure out how they want to approach this. You did briefly get to see Aiden and Josh kind of stuck in that garage area, and so they have to find a new way to path into this fight. Starting with a Valkyrie from Carroll too, although it looks like Tommy B is already out of the fight.
That is not what you want. They're going to be able to take out Flip Stingray and get Jegward, which is going to be huge indeed. They're going to start things back, however, as Carroll 1, Josh is down out of this fight, and they're pumping in so much damage with this Amp Matrix. Kaede getting that headshot on to Carroll 2, Tommy U there. As they're going to it's still even all around here, it looks like. No, Forest Hills are up at the moment, but no, just as I say that, these things just keep getting traded out. I can't even say one team's up or anything because, well, someone going down, as Kaede does go down with that to that self-destruct, and Jegward does lose that mech, but Forest Hills are still on the defense, keeping the cart in their control.
It's going to be so back and forth because the attackers' respawns really favor the ability to come back quickly into these fights and re-engage. I just got a shout out as well. Tommy Yu, just the audacity to go for a revive in front of an amplification matrix. It got shut down, but again, I like the energy behind it.
Yeah, definitely, as they do lose Tommy Yu here early on to Flip Stingray, and then Kaede comes back taking out Olivia. as it is going to be traded out. They do take out Devo, but Flip Stingray still alive, and they still keep getting picks for the side of Forest Hills. And it's 60 seconds now remaining, and Kaede keeps popping off on this Zen.
Oh my goodness! If Kaede didn't have the Transcendence online and wasn't using the Harmony Orb, you can see that Flip Stingray is receiving the warm care of Zenyatta's low healing output. Then I would just think that they were a DPS player, a DPS hero here. Here's the blade being drawn by Flip Stingray just to kill a low HP tank.
Yeah, they did almost get a couple more on it, but they were taken down by Jegward there on that Devo with the melee kill. But that could have been a lot bigger Dragon Blade for Flip Stingray there. But still, they're continuing to stay alive. Devo almost going down, but the Transcendence is going to keep them up and healthy for the time being. As yeah, they're just locking down this point. There's 10 seconds remaining. They do have the Amp Matrix out, but they need to touch the point. They are going to get there with Tommy B. The Shatter does come out, connects to 4 people, but they need to follow it up, and they need to follow it up quickly, but they do not have enough people. But just as I say that, there's so many picks now coming in for the side of Bishop Carroll as they continue to hold strong, getting the Dragon Strike kills as well as they do continue to push forward, but there should be a second fight.
Oh yeah, no, Forest Hills definitely gets another opportunity to touch here. Jegward is going to be sent back to spawn. That's a stagger elimination, but there's win conditions here on the side of Forest Hills. They're coming up on the Shatter. They'll have Blade in the mid-fight. Actually, they'll have Blade to start things off with, and then Bloodhound's Riptire to end the fight here as the overtime wick begins to burn away.
Here comes the Dragon Blade out, and they take out Carroll too early on. They're looking for another, then they get 2, looking for a third, not going to get it in time, but the header does come out as well. The Riptire there to try to clean things up as the side of Forest Hills have a perfect re-engage, get all the picks they need, and hold strong on point 1.
Nice hold from Forest Hills, especially being able to play that retake strategy at a point where, that's not really an advantageous position to play as the defense. So to be able to draw from that high ground, shoulder off all the damage going into the tank lineup here for Forest Hills, Devo and Jegward still able to proc up those ultimates, Jegward able to reconnect and, kind of just the right time in case the fight wasn't going Forest Hills' way. That was really good. Retake strategies in Overwatch are honestly really challenging because the maps are, they're so favorable depending on where you are for either side. So again, it's not too great of a surprise to see Forest Hills thrive whenever they're at a little bit of a deficit there. And this also means that Bishop Carroll has an opportunity to hold here as well. Just don't let the payload get as far as you were able to push it, and you'll see Bishop Carroll equalize this series. It's going to be tough to do so, though. Look at the damage that Forest Hills is going to have to work with.
Here it is. Look at it. It's coming out here, Ethan. They've got the bunker. They've got the pirate ship coming out.
They've got to be baiting us, right?
They've got to be, but it doesn't seem like they are. I mean, they just probably want to clear things up as quickly as they possibly can. Hopefully they know to swap off it if it doesn't work the first time.
We'll have to see. The Carroll 4, Tommy B on the Sigma, it's a good matchup against the Bastion. And as well, you've got Josh on Zenyatta, which Zen is always the way to go against Bastion. But look at this pathing. How do you thwart that?
Yeah, it was Jegworld's gonna take out Carroll 3, and there goes Carroll 6, Aiden down as well. This is just gonna be a very quick first fight for the side of Forest Hills off the back of some nice rotations. Definitely did not see that coming from them, especially when they were locking the Bastion.
I mean, that's the name of the game, though, right? You use the abilities that all of these heroes have to succeed, but you have to put them in the right positions. And look at the aggression from Forest Hills. They're foregoing the cart in the interest of taking a fight in the back lines of Bishop Carroll.
Yeah, they're taking out Tommy U as Carroll 3. Olivia is going to try to do something. It is just this Reinhardt left on point. They do take out Napoleon, but they've locked everything down. Oh, no, they do have someone on point. Tommy B is there, but they're going to be dealt with immediately as Forest Hills take the map and the series in a 2-0 fashion.
Another 2-0 here for TEC High School League, Joker. And, I got to say, again, I want to see that third map. I want to see these teams really push to their limits on the assault game mode. But we'll just have to wait. Here in a couple of weeks, we'll have some matchups that you and I are pretty excited about, Joker. We'll leave that on the down low for now. And that's just more of a reason to make sure that you guys are following us here on the eSport, on Twitch at the eSport Company. So you guys can be notified of when we go live with any of the games that are cast here. At least for Overwatch, Joker, it would seem that is all the Overwatch action we have for you guys today. Normally we'd have that third Division 1 match, and I just don't think that one's in the books for us.
Yeah, I believe they had some conflicts going forward, and so unfortunately we don't get to cast all 3 series for you tonight. But I mean, we still saw some amazing plays coming out from everyone here throughout the first 2 matches. So I mean, we got a lot of content, especially for the plays of the week for next week. Which same Overwatch channel, same Overwatch time, Wednesday at 3:30 p.m. EST at the twitch.tv/the esports company for more Overwatch action taking place. And Monday is starting at 3:30 p.m. EST. The Esports Company High School League's Valorant Week 4 will continue on twitch.tv/the esports company.
Make sure as well, you guys can follow the Esports Company on all of their socials. Just hit the ! Socials to get linked to all of those. Like I said, stay notified of the TEC High School League, both Overwatch, Valorant, all the games that you guys see happen here. The players, they all work really hard to end up on the big screen, and we definitely want to give them all the appreciation that we can. As well, you guys can give us a little bit of appreciation too. Drop the ! Casters command to get connected to the Lord Thief and Joker's Ransom Twitter. That way you guys can stay notified of when any of us go live at any of the orgs we cast for.
Yeah, so that's going to be about it. Go do your homework, get some rest, get an afternoon meal in ya, as that's going to be it. Thank you all for watching. Peace out and have a wonderful rest of your night.